20, Acts chapter 20, we're going to begin reading in verse 7. Amen. Acts chapter 20, verse 7. On the first day of the week, as we gathered together for a meal, Paul was holding a discussion with them. Since he was leaving the next day, he continued talking until midnight. There were many lamps in the upstairs room where we had gathered. A young man named Eutychus was sitting in the window. He was sinking into a deep sleep as Paul talked on and on. When he was sound asleep, he fell from the third floor and died. Paul went down, fell on him, and embraced him, then said, "Don't be alarmed. He is alive." Then Paul went back upstairs and ate. He talked for a long time, right until daybreak. Then he left. They took the young men away alive, and they were greatly comforted. Thus far, the word of the Lord. For these few moments that are yours and mine, Jeremy, I want to speak from the sermonic theme, To Pimp a Butterfly. To Pimp a Butterfly. Weighing less than 1/5 of an ounce, with 4 wings spanning 4 inches, the monarch butterfly is an extremely gorgeous and breathtaking sight. These bright orange, black, and white creatures look seemingly frail, but annually they make a 3,000-mile journey, multi-generation journey, migrating from Canada and the northern United States to Mexico. Its peculiarity is so fascinating that it is the most popular state insect. It holds the positions in Illinois, Minnesota, Alabama, Texas, Idaho, Vermont, and West Virginia. However, the reality remains that its population at once estimated 1 billion a year. But since the 1990s, it has declined by 90%. Scientists and conservation groups had led to a petition to putting the monarch butterfly as a federally endangered species status, called by the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. As an endangered species in the field of real use, Kendrick Lamar's album, To Pimp a Butterfly, serves as an ingenious lyrical dichotomy to admonish to the industry with the power of the unexpected, through a juxtaposition to assert that even if my music is never mixed in the DJ's playlist in the club, I'm still going to put out music from my heart. Simply, he tells the industry through To Pimp a Butterfly, you can't control me. I believe tonight that Kendrick Lamar may have found the inspiration for the sensational soliloquy through juxtaposition in Acts chapter 20. Here we find a faith community hanging out in shores. An ancient Roman city on the Aegean Sea, they hanging out at midnight. And even in midnight, with the threat of persecution, possible execution, for being a follower of Jesus Christ, they are assembled with their lights on. This shows that even in midnight moments, no matter how dark or dismal they may be, we still have a light. And that's good news this evening, because when we examine the climate of our communities today, we realize that we are indeed facing some midnights. It's midnight in Charlotte. We have 1.5 billion black men missing from our community because either they are incarcerated or in the grave. It's midnight when Congress waits 166 days to confirm the first black female attorney general of the United States. It's midnight when it's midnight when more than 16 million children live in poverty in this country. It's midnight when a black person is killed by a police officer every 28 hours. And even still at midnight, with all that's facing our people today, we still got the nerve to have our lights on. Come on, turn the light on. And you can change the time, but you can't change my life. Because even in the face of second-class citizenship, we still have the nerve to keep our lights on. Through grace and use, because I too still sing America. We still got the nerve to have a light on and say, "Up above my head, I hear music." He's in the window. He has an obligation to look out. And as he is looking out, he sees the oppression facing his community. He looks out and sees that prisons are being built for children based on their third grade reading level. He looks out and sees little black boys trying to walk through neighborhoods and not be suspicious. He looks out and sees the Bill Ricer, the 12-year-old child trying to play in the playground. He looks out and sees an 18-year-old just trying to go to college. He looks out and has an obligation to sit out and see from his window. Because while everybody else is sitting there talking, trying to engage in intellectual bickering between Cornell West and Michael Larry Glass, he has an obligation to sit out and look and see what problems are plaguing his people. And so today I came to tell somebody here that you are not here at the Morehouse, spelled up in your car to just sit in the room. But you have an obligation to sit in the window. And when you sit in the window, you recognize that I don't have a degree for myself. I can put a comma after my name and have commas in my bank account, but I have an obligation. That's what keeps me up at night. I have an obligation. I got a right. I got an obligation. That's why I keep dreaming about this book, because I have an obligation. That's why I got a non-profit inside of me, because I have an obligation. That's why I want to go back home and help the girls. I want to go back home and train up the boy. It's because I have an obligation. We have an obligation to cure cancer. We have an obligation to end HIV and AIDS. We have an obligation. And the Bible tells us that Eutychus falls asleep. As he falls asleep, he falls out the window. But beloved, tonight the reality is, every now and then, the window gets overwhelming. I'm tired of seeing the same thing on the news. I'm tired of hashtagging names. I'm tired of building a way for justice for somebody. I'm tired of seeing the same thing over and over again. It seems like we're falling out of the window. And everybody in the church looks out the window and notices that Eutychus is dead. Everybody in the church, they look out the window, say, there's something more we can do. They look out the window and say, this is just the way America is. They look out the window and say, well, you shouldn't have been wearing a hoodie. They look out the window and say, maybe if he had a child, he's still a Cinderella. Or maybe they should just legalize. Maybe he shouldn't have been having a toy gun. And it gets overwhelmed. But there's beauty in the text, because Paul decides that when they place a period, God can place a comma. And Paul recognized that when he leaves his position on the third floor and goes and sees about Eutychus, it's something with Paul, he uses his heart to embrace Eutychus, that Eutychus can rise again. And I came to tell somebody today that they thought you were going to be